Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Martinez with Martinez Art Lab, and today we are going to look in Google Drawings and do a very quick intro on how you can make just a general poster. So first thing we're going to do, we're in our Google Drive. I'm going to click on New, and I will go to More, and then click on Google Drawings. So now that I've got a Google Drawings document, the very first thing I'm going to do is click on Untitled Drawing, and I'm going to type in the title of this. So this is our poster example. And then for students, I always remind them to write their full name. So now I just kind of click off to the side, and you see it says Save to Drive. Everything I do is going to get saved to my drive now. I don't need to worry about saving anything. So let's get started. Since this is just a poster example, I'm going to do kind of an end of the year celebration, okay? As an art teacher, our teachers accumulate a lot of stuff. And while we may not want all the stuff at all times, other teachers and other art teachers do. So what I'm going to do is just make an end of the year art giveaway poster. So let's get started. I'm going to go through a couple of the basic tools and hopefully give you a good enough background that you can move forward and make your own poster for whatever it is you need to make a poster for. So the first thing I'll do is add a background. Our shape tool here, when I click on the shape tool, the drop down menu that I get, these are my options. Any of these options I click on, or I mouse over, if I go to shapes, it's going to pull open a whole menu of different options. Arrows will do the same, callouts, and equations. So I'm going to go back up to shapes, and I'm just going to click on a nice simple shape and click on rectangle. When I click on rectangle and I see this cursor pull open, I know that this is my tool and I'm ready to use it. So I'm going to left click and drag. And when I left click and drag and then release, I've drawn my rectangle. So all I did was left click and drag. A couple things I could do now. I'm just going to use this as my background, so I could use this as a solid color, or I could turn this into just kind of a transparent border. So I'm going to do a little of both. This first round, I'm going to change it into just an outline. So if I wanted to change the color of it, fill color, this is the tool I'd click on. And let's say I wanted a pink background. I do not want that though. So I'm going to go ahead and click back on that fill color. I'm going to click transparent. When I click transparent, it takes away all the color on the inside and makes it transparent. The tool that I want to use is my border color, which is the outline. I'll click on that, and I'm going to make that hot pink. And then I'm going to take this tool, the border weight, click on that, and make that thicker. The bigger the number, the thicker the line will be. And when I just kind of click off to the side, you can see what I've done. In order to see those color tools, I need to use this black arrow. This is my select arrow. And I need to click on whatever it is I want to change options on. So you see when I selected that line, I got these color tools back, the border weight, and I got all these options back. So again, this is our select arrow. I'll click off to the side. I'm going to do one more shape for now. So I'll click on that, click on shapes, and I'll click back on the rectangle. I'm going to do the same thing. So left click and drag to create another rectangle. And I want to do another border, and I still want this transparent. So I'll click the fill color, transparent. You can do the same for the border outline, by the way, if you just want a transparent outline and a fill on the inside. I'm going to take this and make this just kind of a lighter pink. I'm going to make the border weight a little thicker. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to the border dash. And what that does is let me change the style of the border. So when I click on, let's click on this one. And I'll click off to the side so you can see. So now I've got this kind of really cool and interesting border happening on my poster. So that is one way you can add borders. Now that I've got my border set up, I'm going to add some kind of interesting aspects to my poster. So I'm going to use my shape tool. I'm going to keep relying on that shape tool. and go to a circle, let's say. And I'm going to left click and drag. And I'm just going to draw these shapes, and I'll go in and change the colors later. Remember, I can always use my black selection tool. So I need to click back on that. I'll go to shapes again. Let's get one more circle. I'm just going to kind of left click and drag, and I'm adding these interesting shapes. I don't like where I place that, so when I go over my shape, I can left click and drag, and that'll move my shape for me. You can see this red line that pulls open when I'm moving, and I'm left clicking and holding down right now. When I'm moving, that helps me realize where the middle of my page is. So if I wanted this in the exact middle, I'll just go kind of slow. And there you see I've got that in the exact middle. I don't know, so I'm going to bring it back over here. You can see it helps me line up. That red line lines up with the top of my shape. So just kind of giving you some placement ideas if you'd like. And I will go back to my shape tool, and I'm going to draw an arrow. So I'm going to left click and drag. If I wanted to resize my shape, I can go to any of these bullet boxes on the sides. If I want to keep it in proportion, I go to a corner and left click and drag and release to make the shape change. Or if I wanted to do, if I don't want the proportions to stay the same, I can go to one of these boxes, left click and drag, left click and drag, left click and drag to keep that in proportion, and I will, let's go ahead and just bring it down here. Okay, so I'm clicking off to the side just so you can see these better. I'm going to go in and draw one more shape, and I will draw a rectangle, a large rectangle that kind of takes up everything. Now, I want this rectangle, but I also don't want it to cover my circle. So anytime you're using multiple shapes or multiple pictures or multiple anything, you can go to arrange at the very top, click on that, and I can go to order. And what this shows you is how I'm going to layer the shapes and the pictures in my drawing. So right now I can't select bring to front or bring forward because it's already in the front. But if I click send to back, it is all the way in the back. In fact, it is so much in the back that I will never be able to click on it because these outlines are technically shapes and in front of it. So now I'm going to have to click on this outline and send it to the back. And then I'll click on the final outline, and I will go back to arrange and send to back. Now that I've done that, I can click back on my shapes. So just kind of just remember when you're working with the arrangement and the orders of your shapes and pictures, something like that ever happens, you're just going to need to kind of play around and figure out what shape or what outline or whatever is on top or the bottom. And this is a good time to note, as we've just covered a ton of information in a very short amount of time, because this is a video, you are able to stop and rewind and rewatch and do whatever you need to do to retain the information that I'm telling you right now. So I realize it's a lot of information, and I might talk a little bit fast. So you can always rewatch and pause and do what you need to do. So now I've got all these great shapes. The colors, we need some help, huh? This shape maybe needs a little help too, so I'm just going to left click and drag and just kind of move it so it is where I want it to be. And now I will start changing some shapes up. So I will click on my largest rectangle. I'm going to click the fill color. I'm actually going to make that black. I'm going to click on this shape, and let's start bringing my pinks back in. So we'll make that pink. It's got a black outline, and I just clicked off to the side so you can see. I don't want that black outline, so remember your border color. We click transparent. That's what's going to remove that. We could also make this, because this has a black outline as well, we could make it thicker. So it's just entirely up to you what you want to do. I'm just going to keep it kind of changed up just so you can see the differences. Let's put a nice bright green. I'll click the arrow, and this is just my select tool that's selecting all these shapes. And let's click one of the lighter pinks, and then take away that outline, click off to the side. But maybe let's bring in a happy line to kind of make that arrow pop a little bit. Okay, so we've got just a really general shapes laid out, we've got an outline laid out, and now let's bring in some information. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some clip art. So I'm going to search the internet. I just want to caution you on this. This is a sign I'm making for an example. Maybe if I was making this to share with other art teachers to bring out, we've got this art giveaway. This is not something I'm selling. This is not something that I'm making a profit off of. So keep that in mind when you're searching images off the internet, which is what I'm going to be doing right now. So I'm going to insert image, and I'm going to go to search the web, and I'm going to click on, I want to bring in just like a cup of colored pencils, and I want it to have a transparent background. So I'm going to type in transparent background and then colored pencils, and let's see. Colored pencils cup. Let's see what we get here. So this is what I get. And the reason why I want it to have a transparent background, and it looks like some of these don't actually. So sometimes it'll be a trial and error. But let me go ahead and click on this. This is the image I want. When I click on that, I get this, and I'll click insert. And here's my colored pencils cup. So the transparent background will let me size this down, and it'll look like it belongs here. It's not going to have like a crazy white background on top of my black square or anything like that. So I'm going to go to one of the corners. I'm going to left click and drag, and then I'm going to resize this the way that I want it to be and move it to where I want it. So now I've got that. I'm going to go back up to insert image, search the web. I've got transparent background on there, so I'm going to type in paint palette and see what I get. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything exactly what I want, so we might have to settle a little bit. Let's do paint bucket and see if we get anything better. All right, this actually looks pretty good. So I'll click on that, click insert, and we've got a good old transparent background. I'm going to left click on one of these boxes in the corner, and I'm going to drag and release. Now I've got this paint bucket, and I'll move it. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on that arrow. I'll just move the arrow a little bit. Okay. Move my paint bucket a little bit so nothing's being covered. And okay. So I'll leave my images alone right now. I'm going to start adding in my text. So I'll click on text box, and I'm going to draw a text box by left clicking and dragging. And I'm just going to put art giveaway. And I will double click or just drag and select to select my text. I'm going to change the font style by clicking this drop down, and I will change it to that. I'm going to change the font size. I want to make it as big as I can. So let's see how big that's going to be. I can drag my box and make my box a little larger, because as long as my letters aren't going off. Let's see how much bigger I can make these. I guess not too much bigger. So let's leave it at 35. Then I'm going to go over to my alignment, and I'm going to click and center. So if you're familiar with Microsoft Word or any, Word program where you're typing, a lot of these tools will seem familiar, because my text tools, for example, these are all tools that you should know if you're familiar with typing a paper. So there's a lot of similarities in programs, and hopefully that helps you add on to what you're creating and when you're creating these posters. I I've got my text here. I want to do one more thing. I'm going to click on my circle, and I'm going to go to edit and copy, and then edit and paste. So I've just made another circle. I want to give it kind of a 3D look. So I'm just going to click on arrange order and then send backwards. So all that did was send that. Where's it at? There we go. Send that circle back behind the art giveaway circle. I'm actually going to change that to a darker pink. So I'm going to create a custom color. My pink is selected. I'm going to click on custom. I'm just going to take this and left click and drag it. I just want it to be a darker pink so it looks kind of three-dimensional. So my new color is up here. All I did was just move my color down and make it darker. Make it a little bit darker. And then click OK. I had the wrong circle selected. So let me click undo up in the corner. Let me select my correct circle and move that. Actually, you know what? Let's think how I'm doing this right now. Let me move this circle. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to move that circle. I'm going to click on this back circle and bring that forward. Where's my order? Bring to front. Now I need to click on my text. So I'm gonna bring my text to the front. So remember I said when we're arranging, you're always just gonna kind of have to, I think I just sent it to the back. You're always gonna kind of have to play around. I want that in the front. Now this circle is gonna be in the back and I'm only gonna see that. Here's my color still there. There we go. So now I've got what I want. I'm going to kind of move that a little bit, and I've got my addition there. So we've got our art giveaway. Let's go ahead and type in our information. So I'm going to put my information over here. So I just clicked on text box. I'm left clicking, dragging, and where, let's say, the coolest place ever. And I'm going to go in and change that text in a minute. Time, let's see, day. Let's just do time. Okay, so I'm just going to type in kind of nonsense. Day 1, all day long. Or let's do AM to PM. AM to PM. Okay, so let's say that's all our information that we want. So that's where it's at and the time that it's at. I'm going to left click and drag to select all that text. I'm going to make that text larger because I know all the text needs to be larger. I'm going to change the font style and let's see. Let's change it to that and then we can make our text even larger. Don't need as many spaces in there. We can left click and drag to move our text box. We can go ahead and align that by centering it. Let's go ahead and click on, and I can click on part of the text and not all of it. And I'll make some of it bold and the rest of it, maybe I'll just make it just a little bit smaller so we can see that title a little better. And there we go. So there's our text. There's what it is. I've got a couple empty spots happening here. So let me go ahead and maybe add some shapes in there. Oops. And remember, whenever you make a mistake, just click that undo button. I'm going to select that circle and click copy on my keyboard. I'm using my keyboard shortcut and paste, 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 paste. I'm just going to add some circles, and this is just to give my, and I'm just clicking and dragging to move these. This is just to give my poster a little more interest and a little more pizzazz. Okay, so I've just got these dots going on all over. I'm going to add one more dot by pasting. I'm going to move this, and now I'm going to change maybe one more. Okay. Tell I like my design. All right, I'm going to go ahead and change the colors of my circles. Some of them will be black. And remember to pay attention to what your outline looks like, because you don't want a black outline if you're not meaning to have a black outline. Right here it doesn't matter because there's a black backgrounds. Let's go and have some peaks added in, and I'm changing my outline so it's transparent. Let's add some yellow. Add yellow in here. Get some more yellow added. So as I finish this up, this is just a quick way and a few very basic techniques on how you can add or create a poster in Google Drawings. I hope that you all enjoyed this. And let's change that back to green or pink. Let's change that back to pink. I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope that it gave you lots of great ideas to bring in and create your own posters for whatever it is you need a poster for. Enjoy!